our next common objection would probably be for our paid ads campaigns, right, Will, was that since it's pretty new, right, we don't have an abundance of clients on our paid ads campaigns like we do for EGC or influencer, for example. So our main objection would be looking for case studies in paid ads campaigns that we don't have right now for clients in a similar niche, right? And then my sort of handle to that, Caddy, and my tip to you would be if they're asking about any case studies that we have on the paid ads campaign side of things, especially in their specific niche, then I say, while we don't like at Evo specifically have case studies, right? I just mentioned Jimmy and Will's expertise essentially, right? And their paid ads management career and their authoritative standpoint, sorry, in Evo's paid ads campaigns and what we've recently brought over. But yeah, that's something that we can't really control until we build up our case study portfolio on the paid ads campaign side of things. But yeah, just another
what do you say, Will, when people ask for Evo case studies?
Yeah, that was really good. When are they saying this? Are they saying this on the setting call or in the sales call or both?
On the qualifying call, the initial one.
Yeah, and I've heard him say it on the sales call, both. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. This one's we can get over this one, like this will improve our process. So why do they say that? We have to think about why do they say that, right? This can be for VGC anything. It doesn't matter what we're selling. Why do they say that? They say that because they're wanting a certain level of certainty, right? Right. Just because, freaking, one person has entered the NBA and he's 6'4" doesn't mean I'm 6'4", I can enter the NBA, right? Same thing goes here, right? And so, yeah, totally, man. Like, is it fair to say, like, what you're looking for is certainty, that you want to make sure that this works, right? What they're looking for is certainty. They don't actually care about the numbers, because even if we had the best case studies in the world, that's not going to convince them to work with us, right? Is no matter what, they're wanting some sort of guarantee, right? What they're looking for is certainty, but what gets people to have certainty is data, right? Like they think that I need to see something for them to make a decision, which is not true, right?
I think they're asking that though, Will. Like, yes, they're asking for certainty, but I think it's because like our website, all of our like marketing is so just like app driven. And then that goes back to like not getting people in the right ICP, right? So like they're like just like random industries, like the rapper one, for example, like you said, or like the insurance agent, like I got like a contractor the other day who did like roofing, like that guy was like, have you worked with any other contractors, blah, blah, blah. And, one way I used to handle that is just being like, hey, lead gen's lead gen, e-com's e-com, right? At the end of the day, like, I know how to bring people leads, and that's what you need, right? You need contact forms and calls. Doesn't matter if I've worked in your industry or not. And then I even say like I just don't have anything Evo case, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know.
Yeah. So you don't need the way I handle it on there, because over time we're going to have more people in our ICP, but just because we have app case studies does not mean that they'll close automatically. They've said, like, I had a call with John, the guy was ad for insurance. I don't even know what IUL means, right? But I made it up on the spot, right? So a lot of times they're going to try to look for certainty or case study or numbers to shape one way, shape, or form. But at the end of the day, is even if I have worked with a roofer, right, for example, is there are more variables that determine if someone succeeds with the ad campaign beyond the numbers that I get them, right? How's your closing rate? So I guess let me ask you a couple more questions about how your process looks like, right? So my approach to that is, yeah, totally. And I guess, is it fair to say that what you're looking for is certainty, that we can get you the right numbers so that you'll succeed, right? Because a lot of our clients, I work with roofers or brands, but they're in a completely different niche and their process is totally different. So let me make sure that I can even help you. So let me ask a couple questions about what you've tried and what you haven't tried, right? The best way to do it is, boom, don't even answer the question, defer it, right? So in order for me to find out to even if this is going to work, I need to ask you more questions, right? Is don't answer their question at face value. Is to just go into, because that's what you would need to do even if you had the objection, even if you had the case study. If I had the case study here today, I would just like, you're not going to show him and him look at the numbers, be like, oh my God, like this is amazing, right? Because we can make that up, right? But what he's actually looking for is that we actually understand him and his industry and what he needs. Doesn't matter what the numbers look like, because one roofing company here in California versus Texas, completely different market. Just because I blow it out of the water in California and his next door neighbor doesn't mean he's going to get good results. But how I can determine how he's going to feel better, that I can get him the good results, is I ask the right questions for him to feel more comfortable, right? And so what have you tried so far, right? Because I don't even know if paid ads is a good route for you, right? So the next thing is to move him along the sales process and to ask him qualifying questions on what he's tried so far, how has that been going, and what quantifiable results he's gotten from that. Does that kind of make sense, Michael and Jimmy?
Yeah, would you handle that same thing too? Besides case studies, the other thing they ask for is creatives.
Yeah.
You know, and then like I
Yeah.
show them creatives with apps, and they're like, "Well, that's an app, blah blah blah." You know, like that's not a roofer. So
Yeah.
would you
So,
would you
yeah.
do the same thing? Hey, are you looking for certainty that we do good creative?
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
And so obviously, like, you wouldn't come, like they wouldn't come on the call unless they liked what they see in the forefront, right? And so they're using I need to see more as a preventive measure in wanting to actually work with us, because in the prospect's mind, they think that they need more information. They need to see and feel things to make a decision, which isn't true, right? And so when they say that, you don't answer. What I'm saying is, when they say something like that, you don't answer their question, right? If they say like, oh, I need to see the creatives, don't show them the creatives. If they say they want to show case studies, don't answer the case studies. Don't say, oh, I'm going to show the case study. Don't ever say that. What I would do is,
I got a question for you, man, real quick.
Yeah.
And I don't mean this to come off like in like a dick way or anything like that, but I've been in sales long enough that I've seen that, you know, if you avoid it for long enough, they're gonna get pissed. They're like, that's like, you got to show them something eventually, you know.
Yeah. So Padrona,
It's about
I know what you mean, but it depends on, they become pissed because you don't build empathy. They don't feel like you understand them. What they want to feel is that you understand their niche and their problem at hand.
okay.
Right? Because why does someone get mad later in the call? It's because they don't feel like you understand them, right?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, because it's not that they don't get
Yeah.
mad because you don't answer their question, is they don't feel heard. They don't feel like you understand, like you don't understand roofing. You never worked on a roof in your entire life, right? Yeah. And so I'm not saying like don't answer the question, but what they think they're looking for isn't actually what they need, right? What they actually need is they need to feel like we understand them. And so for us to understand them, is we can't just show them things, is we need to ask them better questions so we can show them the right things.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Sorry, I phrased it the wrong way. Like, not like we're not gonna like never answer their questions, is we have to help them feel heard in a certain.
I got you. Yeah. And
Right.
that makes complete sense. Everybody in every sales aspect, they need to feel heard, and that's how you do get the deal. I'm more curious about, like, you know, once you get those questions asked and like you're understanding what they're looking for, but then they're still like, all right, like we had one the other day for makeup. She wanted to see something for makeup. We didn't obviously we don't have that right now. So, and we didn't have necessarily something to show her for what worked for her, and she was so gung-ho about, you know, seeing something that was going to relate to her business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, for sure. And so when she asks you, and that's going to come up, because and we have to find out how to answer that and to say the right thing so that she feels heard, because there is, as this company progresses, there's no way that okay, maybe she does eyelashes. I'm not going to have an eyelash case study or an eyelash creative. Like, no way that's ever going to happen, right? We're never going to be able to have something to show her. Even if we do, sometimes we sign an NDA. If I had a brand, why would I want Evo showing my numbers to someone, right? Like that's an invasion of privacy. also too, right? For some brands, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how the legal framework works. And so when she had that, what was your approach on replying to her?
Jimmy, what we end up saying for that one?
I think I just showed her. I think I just built confidence in the fact that, you know, that we have like our creators, like 60 to 70% are female in her demographics. You know, we worked with other female brands. It's not a concern. But then her thing was like, she's like, I don't want to be funny. Like she didn't like our like UGC, you know. She thought it was like very like, it wasn't like high end enough for like what she's like going for with like a jewelry brand, you know. She's like, I don't want to make. She's like, I don't want to make people laugh with my jewelry. She's like, I want to get sales. She's like, you know, she's like, you can give me, she's like, you can give me views with the funny video all you want, but if it doesn't like get sales, then like, who cares?
Yeah,
But yeah, that was like the main thing, you know. So I did show her Luis Carter's ad account, which is jewelry. So I was like, you know, I was like, hey, it's similar niche, right? Like jewelry is going to be the same demographic as people that wear makeup, right? Women's jewelry, of course. So yeah, that's kind of how I handled it. And then I said, and then I did find out later, we did have a couple of like makeup related case studies, where like girls are doing makeup and stuff. So just like showcasing that.
Okay.
But
and so
yeah, because I think like what I do, like I have a good enough way of getting around it in the middle of the call, but then at the end, I feel like that, to Caddy's point, that's where they always circle back to like, awesome, yeah, send me over the pricing. Again, I just need to see the relevant examples. As soon as I see that, that'll make me feel a lot more confident, you know. And then it's like you're kind of stuck there, right? Like, no, I'm not going to send case. Like, I guess I could tell them like no if I don't have any, but I don't know.
No, and
I think the whole NDA idea though, even if we don't have something, I mean, I know this isn't doesn't show a lot of integrity, but we just be like, we have an NDA, so we can't show anything with that.
That's something I used to say. That's a good line. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. That one's we will use as like a cop out, right? Like if they are super stubborn, right? Like at the end of the call, like no matter what we say, they still ask for it. We'll use that as a cop out, right? But that one doesn't make them feel heard because they feel like they know we're trying to give some sort of an excuse. So that's what we'll use in a worst case scenario, right? And so, not cut you off, Jimmy. So when okay, so we'll do a quick scenario. So we have to get over the fact that these prospects, when they say they want to see something, they want to see the creatives, they want to see the numbers, they want to see all the information on paper, they want to see an email, they want to see a legal framework. These are all the same objection. That objection is, it's a smoke screen. It says, I need to have more information so that I can make a decision, right? I need to see everything all together to make a decision. That, and why are they in a call with us? They have a problem. They've never found the right thing. They've been shopping around forever. They've been looking forever. The mindset that they need to see everything to make a decision, that's why they're only here so far, right? Because if they found the right thing and they took action, they wouldn't be on this call, right? And so them feeling that they need all the information to make a decision, we need to help them overcome that thinking so that they can get over, like, you're right, I don't need all the information. The way of thinking of I need all the information to make a decision, that's what's preventing my brand from growing, right? And I'll get into that, how we do that in a second. But Jimmy, and do you remember, and you don't need to remember word for word, when she said, I wanted to like see something, like did she say like, I want to see the ad creatives themselves, or what was she looking for? Like, what did she say?
Yeah, I think she said, do you guys have makeup creators? Do you have any videos like related to my industry? It was like makeup specific.
Like, yeah, Jimmy, like we've worked with so many beauty brands and everyone has different things, different audiences, different products and services that we do. I'm more than happy to share with you. But let me make sure I'm actually going to be able to show you the right thing. What you're looking in the creatives that you're looking for. How were your creatives in the past? Like, did you ever do a brand deal just now with any UGC creators? Like, how were those creatives? How did you feel about them?
Okay, and then you just get them talking. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so
What
you
I'm
just use acknowledge, clarify with the question, and then reframe.
Yeah,
essentially.
because the reason she's asking about the creatives is there was a problem in the past, right? If she had creatives and they sucked to some degree, she didn't like. So she's making sure she doesn't run into the same thing again, right? And so yeah, Jimmy,
no, I think
Mhm.
no, but this one specifically, I think she asked it because she saw Chloe's videos. I don't know if you've seen that for cap words. There's like this viral video that we put out right now where it's basically like a language app and the girl's like crying because it's so hard to figure it out. And it's like funny. It's not like quote unquote professional, right? It's not, like I said, like it's not like high end, like it wouldn't really translate well to like a makeup brand. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I
and
think
so
she thought all of our stuff was like too like comical.
yeah,
If that
yeah,
makes
and
sense.
so if
Which
you
it
really
is
wanted
like
to see it,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, because we're not going to have a certain style for a certain person. We have to create that, right? That's why they're on a call.
Right.
So with her, is that even if let's say she's like, I want to see it, we show her, and as she watches it, and I'm like, so Paris, the reason we had this video is this is what the brand wanted, and if you remember the brief synopsis, give the synopsis, and so I don't know, I'm just making up her name, Clarice. When we did this creative, the brand loved this because this is the way they wanted it portrayed. And for you, I don't even know if this is the right fit. So I guess for you, like just looking at this and what we did for the brand, how do you feel about this compared to what you did in the past? Like how were your previous creatives? Right? She needs to feel that we have the process to get her the right creatives. Because the right no artist, no one's going to help her work with her and be like, Clarice, don't even say anything. I already know what you need. No one like that exists, right? And so Clarice, like, with the creatives that you're looking for, first, like, how were the ones in the past? Like, what was wrong, right? Yeah, like the creatives were bad, right? The creatives were bad, right? She didn't like they didn't like my style. Oh, okay. And so like, did those videos perform well, or did you make any money from those videos? Well, no, not at all. Did they even go viral? Like, how many views? Greece. Yeah, like we posted and like less than 500 views. That's really bad. So is it fair to say that a video that was going to make you money is one that gets a lot of views and also makes you that money and is a style that you want, right? Is it fair to say like what you're looking for is these three things, right? What is the right creative for, what is the right thing for that person? It's going to come down to three things. It's quantifiably is virality, right? A good creative has to get views. I can have the greatest creative in the world, but it looks very pretty, gets 0 views, and there's no point, right? She has to like it, right? With our current brands, they all have to a certain degree, like the videos that we provide for them. The videos have to generate results. They have to get views, but most importantly, the views have to turn into downloads. And so is it fair to say that, Clarice, what you're looking for is all three things, one by one? Am I correct? And with what you did before, did you get all these things? What fell short? Can you tell me a little bit about what happened? And then what we have her do now, when even after she's looked at the creative, she explains, I need to know what was wrong with her previous creatives. Oh my gosh, they didn't even hit 500 views. Oh my gosh, that's terrible. Did you even like the videos? They even fit your style? No. Oh my gosh. What do you mean by your style? Is it like the people in the videos, like they weren't the ones that portrayed your brand? Yeah, like none of those girls were I didn't like any of them. They're all didn't look like my brand. Okay. Oh my gosh. And I'm assuming like you didn't make any money from these videos either, right? So yeah, I made no money videos. Okay. So now you've seen all her problems and I rephrased it back to her. Okay, videos were bad, creatives were bad, no money. So I want to make sure, Clarice, that I'm going to get you the best creatives possible, just like the way we did it for this guy. but like these aren't going to be videos I'm going to do for you, right? Because I have to make them exactly the way you want it. It makes you money. So what type of creators do you want? So like I can get you, our creator pool is so wide, I can basically get you a creator. Tell me the style that you want, right? Now we go back and trace back her problems and tell her what she wants. Have her say what she wants. And then you say, I can get it. I can do it. How do you feel if I can get those type of creators? And how would you feel if now instead of getting 500 views or less, these views are doing 1,000 views or more, right? And consistently we're posting more and you get more views. How do you feel about that? It'd be a lot better than before, right? And now imagine we're doing the right style, we're getting the right views, and we post a lot because that's what we need to do. Starts making you money. People are buying. Would that be a win for you? Perfect. And so with all these things that we just said, do you feel like we'd be able to get you the right creatives? Perfect. Awesome. So now you've handled the objection of, I feel like you guys don't have the right creatives, and she feels like she has to see the perfect creative in order to move forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yes, it's a little bit to handle, but that's what we need to, in order to understand, to get her the information that she wants, she needs to understand and feel heard that we understand her needs, right? What does she want in the creatives? What is the result she wants to get from the creatives? But not only what does she want, what is good or bad for her? Can I put a number behind it? Is good 500 views, 1,000 views? What's good for you? What's bad for you? Right? Is it 100,000 views? Like what is good and what is bad? Because what is good and bad for her is completely different from our view on what good or bad is. Right? And so the same thing can be applied when they look for the case studies and numbers, right? So instead of saying, is it fair to say like what you're looking for isn't just a bunch of impression clicks and downloads, is you want to see, you know, the cost per purchase, right? The ROAS, right? And so before I even get to that, like what kind of views were you even getting before? Just so I can make sure I can tell you the right numbers that make sense, because every brand's numbers are completely different, right? So now when they ask you for the case study, you're like, great, I can show you, but like, what did you get before, right? Why are they asking for it? They're asking for it because they feel like we're not going to get them the right numbers. So ask them, how were your numbers before? Did you make any money at all? What kind of, like, how many view counts were you getting on the creatives? Like, what did you do exactly, right? When they push in, you acknowledge, and then you ask them qualifying questions. And they're not going to be against that because they feel heard, like, oh, like Jimmy just wants to make sure he provides me the right numbers, right? Does that make a little bit more sense?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah. And so it's the same thing, irregardless if it's, I'm asking for the right creatives, I'm wanting to see the legal framework, I'm wanting to see the numbers, is they all just want to feel heard. They want to see the right things, but we don't know what the right things are for them unless we ask, right? So when we get to that is we want to go back into quantifying and qualifying, what do they actually want, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and you guys can work on this. Like what I recommend you guys do is, like, and we have a note taker on this app, is like over the course of a week, we have these objections that we keep running into. Let's just write them down, right? So like in your next couple calls, everyone does a bunch of calls. So in the coming week, write down all your objections, and then you guys can also role play on how you guys handle it for each other, because you guys do a bunch of calls. Like, you know what so and so would say in this situation, right? You know how Clarice would fire back, right? You know how these people are. So if you guys can like role play on what you would say, then when you get to the call, you kind of know what to say and what to ask, and then you'll cross that bridge when you get there. Padron, what do you think about that approach?
I think it's solid.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because there's just no way for us to be able to have all the numbers and right creatives for anyone. It won't exist. So any other objections that you guys are getting, that you guys are seeing, other than I want to see something concrete before I move forward? I want this information before I move forward.
I think that a big part of it has to do with funds. And I think that's one of the biggest things of moving forward of what we're seeing. Again, I feel like that's one that, Michael and I have talked about, the price versus the cost. And what's the price is what you're seeing, but the cost is what happens if you don't move forward with this. And a lot of these people, like we said earlier, there's just a lot of people just getting started saying that, we don't have $3,000 to invest in this right now. And, it's something that when I can't blame them, because there's definitely things that I've signed up for, like little meetings that I wasn't ready to, go invest $2,000, $3,000 into things that I wouldn't say necessarily 100% sure about, or just like, things come up in life. And so if people are just really getting started, then maybe our targets has to change a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And I have some call recordings I can share. I've been getting that one a lot. And so us as setters and salespeople, we need to rewire thinking, right? Because you guys probably think that because a prospect is rich, they're doing $200,000-$300,000 grand a month, that something that's $3,000 they'll buy, right? Like that wouldn't be an objection. Like you wouldn't think you would get that objection, right? Because they make $200,000-$300,000 per month, right? But that's not true, because I literally had that one today with this Asian lady. Her app was doing $200,000-$300,000 per month. We're trying to sell her on paid ads, and she's making $200,000-$300,000 grand per month. She's spending $2,000-$3,000 per day on ads, and she can't get over a $3K management, right? You know how crazy that is? But what we need to do here is there are
now
prospects.
She's just comparing you, right? She's just comparing you to every other. She's like, I've gotten cheaper quotes, like, right?
It wasn't that. She had someone in-house. So she said she had someone in-house, and I was like, great. And so that guy has gotten you so far, right? Because what is his objective, right? Obviously to get you results, but what's incentivizing him to push beyond the Andromeda update, right? Like he managed like 5 brands for you. What's his incentive to push on? There's not much incentive, right? Because he just gets a paycheck, right? But what's my incentive to get you better results? Everything in the world.
Yeah, have you being a reoccurring customer, us having a case study, we're trying to build Evo,
Yeah.
How did she handle? How did she respond to that?
So I handled it, and then she was like honestly, Will, it's just that I'm actually looking for someone to hire right now. It's actually not that I can't afford. I'm actually looking for someone. I'm looking for someone that I can hire to do that instead of doing agency, and that's okay. And I said that's okay. No matter like what you do, even if you don't work with us, that's totally fine. Is you only have so much attention in your day to give, right? Like you have your attention to give for your UGC, attention to hire someone, attention to all these things, right? No matter who you hire and what you decide to do, you have to give a certain attention towards that, right? Because you're the founder of the company, right? Because you don't fully trust someone yet, right? Because they're new, right? What are you gonna do? You're gonna train them, right? And so, do you trust that I understand the numbers that we talked about, that you feel heard, that you feel like we can get you the results that you need, right? Do you feel like the process that I talked to you so far makes sense, right? And what we're doing is we're validating, we want to put, whenever they come with a price objection, right? Whether it's actually true, a logistical thing, it's most of the time a smokescreen. The first objection that they give you is a smokescreen. Once you present a price, the first objection is a smokescreen. Smokescreen is what they act out of discomfort. Like, oh, okay, like I don't want to make a decision right now. I'm just gonna make up an excuse. Right? That's not the real excuse. The real excuse comes 1, 2, 3 later. So the first one they might give you is, oh yeah, it's just a lot for me right now. Can't be able to afford it. Okay. Instead of breaking down the price for them or making it cheaper or telling the price or cost, the price and cost is a good one if they believe that it'll work, right? Because if they knew they did our campaign, they can make 100 grand tomorrow, whether you do it, 100%. I'm gonna take out a bank loan to do it right now, right? You know, I'm gonna go to my credit card company, 0% interest, boom, I'm gonna swipe it, do it right now. If you know you're gonna win if you do this, would you do it? 100%, right? But why though? Because yeah, it's guaranteed, right? But there's no guarantee. So instead, when they say, yeah, it's like too expensive, totally. I mean, that's why we can get you. That's why we've gotten these people these kind of results, right? If it was free, this wouldn't work that way. But do you feel like what we talked about, Michael? Like, do you actually believe that we can get you the kind of results to be able to scale your business? Right.
Yeah.
So when they say the price, when they say they can't afford, we just acknowledge that's totally fine. That's totally fine. Totally fine. It's a typical thing. Now we need to put them into results-based thinking. What we need to say is totally. Just want to make sure. Do you actually think that what we talked about, the VGC campaign, the creators and everything, do you feel like we're able to actually get the results that you're looking for to get you to the 300K months? Right? Then they'll say like yes or no. Right? Because if they say no, they don't believe in you, even if it was freaking free, they still wouldn't do it because they don't believe you. Right? Even if it was super cheap, they still wouldn't believe you. So here we're making sure that they believe us. And instead of them thinking about the cost, we're putting them into results-based thinking. I'm taking their brain away from thinking about the cost. I'm putting it back into the results, right? And so do you feel like we'd be able to get you the results X, Y, and Z that you're looking for? Okay, why though? Like why specifically, right? And then they're going to dive even deeper. They're going to go even deeper into results-based thinking. They're like, yeah, like the creators are really great that you showed me. The VGC is great. Like I love that concept. I feel like if we're to do that, we get the results. Totally, right? So now we've taken away. So when you present a price and then they say something, it's a knee-jerk reaction to me hitting someone on the head to become defensive, right? So what I'm doing is I'm lowering their guard, so they're not like jittery. Right? It's like, do you think it'll work? Okay. Why do you feel like it would work? Right now, their guard is down. Now you're in a better position to move into the next part. Right. But before I move into the next part, does that make sense? Whenever you get, even if they say, I need to think about it, if they say, I need to look at an email and look at the price, if they say, I can't afford it, no matter what they say after you present the price, that's it. That's every objection is the same. It's just a knee-jerk reaction to someone hitting you on the knee. You're gonna react, right? Whenever you get a price, that's the shock. That's the reaction that you're going to get automatically. And so to move them away from that shock, we have to put them into results-based thinking, right? Totally. So from what we talked about, do you feel like it would actually work for you? Okay, awesome, man. Why would it work for your brand specifically, right? And get them to go back into thinking and believing that our process is going to work. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. Yep.
Any other setters have any questions for Will before we let him go? Nope. All right. Cool, Will. Well, we'll see you next month. Thanks for doing this. And yeah, if you guys have any other questions about paid ads, feel free to shoot Will a DM or me a DM. And hope you guys enjoyed the training. So
Yeah. Thanks, Will. Appreciate it.
Of course, guys. All right. Take care. See you guys.
Thanks, Will. Cheers.